Hello, hello, hello. Hi, my name is Erica Mosley, and this is Tech Tea. We have Toylahan and we also have Charlotte. And the definition of Tech Tea is basically bridging the gap into tech. So this is going to be a relaxed conversation. Just talk about what you actually think about tech, right? And how did you get into tech, or how are we going to get our kids involved in tech as well? Also, the show is called The Homeless Diaries, and a lot of people want to know, how did homeless and tech come about? So for me, my story is my mother left when I was 2 years old, and we was traveling all across America with my father, and technology was a resource for me. So I had to use the computer to be able to find shelters, etc. Then I later realized that I wasn't qualified as a family because he was a male and I was a female. So I had to continue to use the technology to do problem solving too as well. So I'm here today to let the community know that if I could be able to break into tech, anyone can be able to break into tech. And all you have to do is use your creative skills and be able to bridge the gap. So I also want to highlight leaders as well that's talking about diversity and inclusion in the world, as well as people that's already in tech. And today is really interesting because we have Charlotte, that is a huge advocate of diversity and inclusion. And then we have Toyland, that actually lives in the UK, guys, and she works in tech, right? Bing, bing, bing. That should be alarming to you guys. So what we're going to do is go ahead and introduce Charlotte. And Charlotte, I want to ask you a question. Can you tell me about yourself? And what do you think about tech? A lot of people think, the internet, shopping online, being a software developer, and they all definition of tech. What is your definition as well? Love to hear about yourself.
Well, I live in Silicon Valley. Before, we were here before it was Silicon Valley, back when it was apple orchards. And so now it's like everybody's out here, right? So Apple's out here, Google, Twitter, LinkedIn's out here. And so when I love tech in that we're able to connect, right? Like Erica, I'm not even sure exactly where you are. I'm in California. Where are you?
Yeah, in San Francisco. I got excited inside when you said that. I live in San Francisco.
Oh, you're okay. So you're in the Bay too. And then we have
Yeah.
William, who's all the way in the UK, right? And all of us are able to come together because of technology, right? I met Erica on LinkedIn, and even though LinkedIn's got a white supremacist problem, I'm grateful for a lot of things that a lot of connections we've been able to make, right? Because of technology. I run my business now from my home, and I'm grateful for that because white supremacy is running rampant on these streets, and it's not safe out there. So I'm grateful that I can make money and I can still change the world from the comfort and the safety of my home. So I love technology. However, I don't like the way it's been, how technology's white supremacy is embedded in technology, and white supremacy is the gatekeeper as to who has access to technology, whether it's in our schools or whether it's in society. So the studies that I've looked at is that when it comes to LinkedIn and Twitter and Google and all of that, there's still people that look like you, Erica, are not there, right? So black people aren't there, brown people aren't there, other historically excluded groups aren't there. And it's not because we're not talented, it's not because we don't have the degrees, it's because white supremacy still runs everything and still decides, what an engineer looks like. Like I remember my ex-husband's an engineer, and I came from education. So at that time I was a teacher. And I remember him saying something like that boys were engineers, but that wasn't accessible to girls, right? And he was like a child at the time, but he had already noticed the masculine face of tech. So it's where everything's going. It's where all the jobs are, as far as like environmental science, well, maybe not necessarily tech, but within STEM, right? Environmental science, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, and yet we still have white supremacy as the gatekeepers as to who has access. Um, Oh, so I forgot what you asked me. So I'm Charlotte Stevens and the Ancestors, and I run Healing Racism in Schools, and I'm all about eradicating white supremacy from our schools. And one of the things I talk about is how, because STEM, a lot of times math and science teachers want to be like, well, my subject is race neutral, and they don't recognize how white supremacy is still perpetuated in these classes, and it ends up impacting who goes on to pursue these jobs or who sees themselves as the face of these jobs, who even sees it as accessible to them. So there's ways that our schools are setting up Black and Brown people to not have access to tech, and then tech solidifies it by being the gatekeeper to make sure that you don't get a job. So
So what do you feel when I say a person like me? What's your definition when you say a person like me can get into tech? Because you know what I mean? Am I considered as culture fit, right? Or You know what I mean? We need to break that down as
No,
well too.
you and Toyin, neither one of you are culture fit. Your skin is too brown. You know what I mean? Like your ancestry is too African. So culture fit is another way that we perpetuate white supremacy, and it's another way that we keep Black and Brown people or other historical groups from having access by saying that you don't fit in. And culture fit is really about centering white comfort and making sure that white people feel comfortable. So when Black people come in, especially if we have the nerve to want the same rights or to be treated equally, a lot of times white people are like, well, we don't want to deal with that. We don't want to have to be considerate of how we're perpetuating white supremacy, and you being here will force us to consider that, and that's going to make us uncomfortable. So even though you might be more qualified than this other white person over here, this white person over here is not going to make me uncomfortable on a daily basis, whereas looking at you and your beautiful Blackness and will make me uncomfortable. So culture fit is another way that our society perpetuates white supremacy and decides who gets access, who has an opportunity, and which is what we see with what we call the achievement gap, is really the opportunity gap, because again, it's about who gets an opportunity. Often it's not people who look like you two beautiful queens, unfortunately.
Why is this so funny? So this is the reason why I made this platform. So that way we can be able to voice our opinions, so that way non-traditional people can be able to have a platform, right, to speak to individuals and get jobs like right on the spot. So mine is different, right? Because I come from a non-traditional background to where I actually interview leaders, and then we try to strategize instead of the leaders trying to interview us and still don't have the understanding about what to do. I interview you, and then if you qualify, then I put you onto the team, because I know that you have these qualified skills, honestly, to train my students. So again, that's the reason why I allowed you guys to come on the show, because I know that you're qualified leaders to be able to train my students. My audience that I have right here is listening is either homeless people that's trying to get to the next level, and when I mean homeless people, that can mean a single mother, right, that's living at her sister's house and don't have anywhere to go, or that can be somebody that's literally in a shelter or whatever and that needs services. And then again, is also have my non-traditional students that's looking at this, trying to break into tech. So I really need well-educated people that can be able to digest this whole thing, instead of saying, oh, just do your resume and then you can be able to get in, and we don't understand about the culture fit. Do I need to cut my hair? Do I need to keep my hair long? Because let me tell you a little funny story about the little culture fit. I had a job interview to where is and it was at a big company, and I used to be a corporate places, so I came in, guys, with a suit and a tie. And when I went into the place, everybody was looking at me like I was crazy, right? And plus I was the only Black girl. So I was like, oh my God, nobody told me I ain't supposed to be dressed up like this, like Obama, Michelle Obama. That's how I was looking like. And then so the next time I went to another job interview, I just wear pants and I wear some cute little boots, right? And I got sister locks under here. So I just took my little wig off, and they was like, you look cute. And I was like, oh, I just got to be myself, not Michelle Obama, like in the corporate world. So it's just about the culture fit that I needed to learn, like study the organization and see how they're dressing, right? Sometimes you might even have to pass the headquarters to see how they're dressing, so that way you can be able to fit in. So whenever you go to that interview. So thank you so much for mentioning that. And then thank you so much, Tammy, for jumping in. We were just going around giving introductions and just talking about what does tech mean to you. Also, we're going to just get down about the roles that you have as well. And Toyland is going to go next, and she's actually in the UK as well. And there's actually Black people in tech as well. So I'm really excited and I'm really happy about that. And Toyland, tell me about how long you've been in tech, and how long you've been in tech. We could just start there.
We can start there. So I'm Toyin Ojidele, and I'm based in the UK, in the south of the UK. And I started off tech as, I would say, out of interest. I just was so interested in computing, anything to do with computing. I was lucky enough to grow up with both parents, and my dad was an engineer, so he just wanted to have a computer at home. And there's a few of us at home, And I would just lock myself away with this computer, and I was just learning and learning. I would create PowerPoint. I would use Word art to create stuff. And I just got fixed into it, and I really wanted to do it. So I would say I was lucky enough to get that. But then going through secondary school and everything, I decided that, you know what, I want to do this thing. I want to go for it. I want to learn everything about it because I've got the knowledge. Well, not the knowledge, self-taught knowledge. So I then luckily got into uni. But the difference about you actually studying IT, I would say IT because we call it IT in the UK, and you call it tech in the US, we call it IT. So the not so good thing about and the experience I had was you go to university, you study IT, but when you leave, you don't actually get a job. You can't, it's very difficult to, because you've got a degree doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a job. It just means you've got a degree. You then need to have an experience, but how do you get the experience if you don't have a job? So that was the difficult part, the difficult thing I found. And so I just, I found myself in IT in a very, very strange way, because whilst at uni, I had a part-time job, and the part-time job I was doing like HR in the part-time job. And that was an experience, but that was not what I learned at uni. So I got a job after university as an HR person. And then from there, I developed my HR knowledge so well, but I also have the IT knowledge. So when an opportunity came up in working in HR and IT together, I applied and I was lucky enough to get into that job. And that was the situation for me. But in the UK, there are quite a few people in IT that are ethnic minority. And I found that we study a lot. So if I wanted to go straight into IT from uni, I would have to go and do extra courses. I would have to find myself someone that believed in me. So just like you said, over there in the US, it's when it comes to ethnic minority, it's difficult for you to get a job as well here in the UK. But you just have to find someone that could help you. I think it's a connection thing. So you find someone that is already there that can mentor you and tell you exactly what you need to do to get into IT over here in the UK.
So when you say IT, that's the whole terminology of tech, or just the position itself, IT?
Oh no, IT is information technology, the old tech. We just call it IT in the UK, but you call it tech, but it's the same thing.
Perfect. And tell us what you do as well, Toyin.
Okay, so I currently work as IT software application support.
Your business and your mom, your business.
Yes. So about me, I'm a single mom. Okay, so I'm a single mom, and full-time single mom. I work full-time, and I also have to take care of my son. And whilst doing my role, you know, you're going to work, you spend all day at work full-time. Sometimes I have to drop my son off at 7 in the morning, and I don't pick him up until 7 because of my job. But then it's been great being at home during this lockdown. It's one of the greatest experience I've had because I've had to stay at home. So as a single mom, I love to spend quality time with my son because I don't want to miss any moments. I love creating memories for him. So over the lockdown, we always have so much fun. We go out, we travel, we do so much things together because I love creating those memories. So I decided to launch a page, like a blog called Being a Single Mom. So I have an Instagram page called Being a Single Mom. And the purpose of that is just to help redefine single moms, because the way single moms are portrayed in the world is like they're stressed, they're depressed, they're broke, they don't have money, just every negative thing you can think of. and they need to interview somebody about a single mom, that's the first thing I mean, if they find a single mom, or they want to talk about something about, oh, there's a poor society, let's go and interview somebody there, the first thing they do is they find a single mom and they interview that single mom, and the single mom obviously comes on and say, oh yeah, I'm broke, I don't have enough money. So I just want to change that perspective in the world, that there are successful single moms. There are people like me, and there are people that are single moms that are doing so well for themselves. And that was the whole point of creating that page, to share experiences about me and my son, and also to help other single moms be the best they can be.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So guys, to the audience, how I met Charlotte on LinkedIn, and I was just basically talking about diversity. She came in and gave some good tips and stuff like that. And I said, yes, I gotta definitely connect with her some more. And then Toyin, how I met Toyin was on Grant Cardone. If you guys know Grant Cardone, we went to a webinar to where he helped you out with your business and help you do anything 10 times X. So me and her met, and she told me what she do in the UK, and I was trying to figure out, like, God, why is we still connected, right? And I figured out she works in tech, and not only that, she has a business helping young mothers, or just mothers in general. And again, that's what I do too as well. So I started up this platform to whereas she was going to be a part of it and helping tech individuals with their students, while I teach them how to work with diverse candidates. Because a lot of the times, these tech companies don't know how to work with the diverse candidates. And what I would do is educate them. Also, they need help with their students. And she's going to be there as well with the kids, helping with the kids. So we just have a good idea and a good plan. And I'm so excited to let the world know about that soon. And thank you so much, Tammy. How I met her was we was on the Clubhouse. She is definitely a leader. She was answering questions to the non-traditional students about how to break into tech with no degree. And that's what I do too as well on the Clubhouse every Friday. I let students just come on there, and same thing we doing here. Just hash it out before you go into these other rooms, because people further realize those other rooms are opportunities. So I don't want you to miss your shot, right? Just come on, practice and get dirty. And I noticed that she was doing that too. I said, oh, okay, yeah, let me hop in. She was very welcoming, allow me to be on the stage, right? I said my little pitch for like 2 little seconds. And then she said, oh, give me some more information. Allow me to be the moderator. I said, this is the girl I need. She is real and true. I said, I want you on a show. She did a follow-up and said, I wanted to be on the show. I said, this is who I need, guys. So I want to introduce yourself. Please tell me how you got into tech and what you think about tech.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm glad I'm able to join. My name is Temi Akiwumi. I've been in tech for 26 years, and I've had my company for 16 years. My company is in Lago, Maryland, USA, and my company is called Top Group Technologies, topgrouptech.com. We also have a product called myituniversity.com, which is what we do is to help minority. So before diversity and inclusion became a thing, that's what we do. If you look, if you look under my on the website or any of the website, you see a lot of award for what we do, giving back to the community. So from Congress, from Senate, United Nations, and all of that, they are there because I love to give back and I love to support the community. So how I got into tech, I also always want to be a doctor. Back home where I came from, I'm from Nigeria originally. And my father's first degree was in mathematics. So at home, I don't have any spare time. Every time it's like, do this, do this. It's always gonna be doing some lessons. We call it lessons, right? Tutorials in maths. And so I got stuck with that. Then my mom too. So it's always like you said that you're spare time, you're always doing something or going for extra curriculum activity, training for math and English and all of that. So always doing that. So prepping myself when I was growing up. So fast forward, after a while, I'm in all the clubs in high school. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm in all the clubs in high school, prepping to be a doctor. Then something happened. They picked me for computer science, and I was like, that was a long time ago. So computer science was very new. And I was like, what is that? My father told me, I was like, okay, let me just give it a shot. There was just few ladies and very few people actually. So I started off back at home in Nigeria. I started off already in college. So by the time I came to this country, I just continued. So I went to UDC to finish up my college degree in computer science. So after that, I started working for CSC, Computer Science Corporation. Then I, from there, I got my master in cybersecurity. Actually, I got my master in software engineering first when I was working for Noto Grumman. Then after sometimes I love cybersecurity because I was the lead engineer, and we're trying to get ATO package and all of that. I worked at the Pentagon for more than 15 years. So worked on project that if I have to tell you, I have to pretty much kill you kind of project. I can't really talk about that here. So I support a lot of deep intelligence projects. So I was the lead on all of those projects. So I ended up helping to do cybersecurity stuff. So I love cybersecurity. I was like, oh, okay, it's easier than programming, coding. I'm coding all of these languages. And cybersecurity seems so relaxed and not so crazy, because at the time when I passed 40, I was like, I'm money crazy. I don't want to do this anymore like that. So I just kind of, step back a little bit and decide to look into cybersecurity, and I love it. So I got master in that too. So now it's completely changed around. So I'm going back and forth between software engineering, cybersecurity, and project management because I do all of the three. So now looking back, I noticed that in the community out there, I work for a lot of all these big 500, Fortune 500 companies, right? And I've supported a lot of national mission critical projects. I noticed that we don't have people of color. Most of the projects that I worked on, I'm mostly leading a lot of projects. A lot of these projects, I don't see my color. I don't see women. I don't see anything. It's just a body constantly for me. And I know there's a gap. I need to bridge that gap. Why? Because in the church, right? Everybody's coming to me. Can you help me get into tech? Even though they've gone to college and they pay so much, they have so much student loan, they can't get a job. What is that? So I end up being the go-to person for everybody. So it became a burden to me. But sometimes some parents will come to me, can you help my son, my daughter? I've never met them. I'll get their resume, look at their resume, fix their resume. And then they get a job. And it's been going on and on. I was like, okay, so it's more like a ministry now. There's something more than this. So I look back, I said, 2014, I decided, you know what, I'm done. I'm just going to focus full time on my business, because I already have my business in 2007. But I noticed that I'm always working and I don't have enough time to put on my business anymore. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on this. It's crazy. I was like, are you crazy? You're going to leave all this money on the table and go and do a business you're not sure of. I have people working for me, but they're not doing what I wanted. So I decided to just fully focus on my business and then just go for it. And I did. That's what I did. I've never worked for anyone since 2014. I've been working for myself and I've not looked back. So looking back, we really help a lot of people to get into tech. Right now, I've mentored like over 1,000 plus engineers, and a lot of them are doing so well in tech. And I'm grateful for the opportunity.
That's good. Thank you so much for literally highlighting that. And the reason why I wanted you guys to share your story is because I wanted people to identify themselves. A lot of times people don't know how to identify themselves and do in clarity into tech. So Charlotte, I want to go back to you and just break down some myths. A lot of the times they think, oh, you're supposed to be in California, you can get all the opportunities, in tech. Oh, maybe she's in Silicon Valley and the opportunities are there. Can you break down the myth? Is there a lot of opportunities there for us? And what are some things that our allies can be able to do to help us to break into tech? That's one of the questions that my ally want to know about how they can help us, Charlotte.
Well, first of all, I wanted to back up and say that my ex-husband is a self-taught software engineer. So he didn't go to college. He didn't have access to any of that, as we often don't have access to those things. So he was determined, and he really focused. And while his friends were out partying and going to the club, he was studying. And so
That's
he is
awesome.
self-taught. And so he has a job at Netflix right now. But his journey has not been easy, even though he's highly qualified. He went to Hack Reactor, and he ended up being an instructor at the school that he was at because he was so good, So, but the students that he taught, the white students that he taught, they're all getting jobs, and he was still unemployed for a long time. So, on one hand, Black people can do anything, right? We do it. We defy the odds on a regular basis. We're still here, so we're amazing. So yes, we can always break into any industry, but it's still going to be challenging because racism is prevalent, and people just have in their minds what a computer tech person looks like, an engineer looks like, and it often is not, us. So what our allies can do is they can open those doors. They can get us into those meetings. They can get us in front of the right people. They can help create internships, right? Because it's all about who you know. And white folks, their world is white, and so they network with other white people, and they have access to decisions and the rooms where decisions are being made, and we don't have access to those rooms, right? So they can provide access. Allies can provide opportunities, introduce us to the right people, invite us to the right event, right? Where we have the opportunity to then network and then show what we can do. For most of us, we just need the opportunity. We're not, ain't nobody asking for a handout. We don't need you to do it for us. We got it. We're Black. We're amazing. But we often don't have the opportunity to talk to the right people because of the way that white supremacy is structured, where most white people, 91% of their friends are other white people, like 1 to 2%. They claim all these Black friends, but statistically, they only have 1 to 2% Black friends. So that being said, you tend to hire and work with the community that you're in. So white folks tend to hire other white folks because they're surrounded by white folks. So that's one of the things our allies can do. And then what I want to say about being in Silicon Valley is that I'm not going to lie and say that there's not a wealth of opportunities here, right? And I'm so privileged in a way that I can't even tell because I'm not from an area where companies don't go, right? I'm in California, I'm in Silicon Valley, all the companies are here. So I do recognize that does provide opportunity. However, a lot of these jobs provide telecommuting, right? So I know there's been opportunities, like there's been jobs where my ex-husband worked where somebody worked in Hawaii and then he's in California, right? And like they never went to office. It was all digital. So because it's tech, right, there is a lot of opportunities. So don't allow any of those stories to stop you. And the way I look at things is I only need one. I don't care if every place is super racist and doesn't want to hire me. I only need one opportunity. And that's what moves me forward through all of the negativity that comes at us as Black women. Because essentially, if we listen to it, we wouldn't do anything, right? The odds are always against us. You wake up in the morning, good morning, the odds are against you. You know what I mean? So like either we're going to persist anyway, or we're going to be derailed. And from what it sounds like your audience, Erica, is that these are people who are already resilient, who are already survivors, who have already been through hell and back, in which case you are the perfect people to break into tech because you already have what it takes.
So a lot of times the companies say, Charlotte, we have internships. We do introduce them into meetings, etc. But it's not a lot of diverse candidates. They drop out as well. What do you say about the internships and there's not a lot of diverse candidates? Why are people not, coming in? Is the job descriptions too high? Are the internships too high? You know what I mean? Like, what's the problem to where the community is not going to this to these internships and apprenticeships, and why are they dropping out?
I'm open to anybody. I can give you my perspective, and my perspective is that I feel that in our schools, especially because this is all white supremacist culture, we internalize white supremacy, we internalize racism, and we start to believe the negative perceptions that are being presented to us. So what I think one of the most egregious things that our schools do to Black and brown people is it denies us pride in our identity as people of color. So I might graduate and have all of the tech knowledge, but I might think that my Blackness makes me inherently deficient or not good enough or feel like I'm some type of imposter, right? So for a lot of us, we don't feel like the opportunity is there because we're defeated and because I'm not blaming us, but we've been through so much trauma. And none of that has been explained. None of that is put in the context of this is what's happening to you because of a system of white supremacy that I feel like a lot of us, we internalize that we're not going to make it. We can't get it done anyway. So why bother? So I think that that's where some of that comes from. The other thing I want to say is what I really want Black folks to do is to create our own stuff. Be entrepreneurs, start the business so that we don't, because the other thing I'm thinking about being an entrepreneur or an intern into these companies is that is white supremacist space and it's toxic for me. So I might intern in your company, and on one hand, it's giving me an opportunity to maybe work in your company, but your company might be toxic for me. So a lot of these quote unquote good jobs, Google, Twitter, LinkedIn, it's white supremacist culture. It's not going to be a safe space for us as Black people. It's going to erode on our spirits, and it doesn't matter how much they pay you if your wellness is not well. So I would love for us to create our own where we don't have to compromise our hairstyles. We don't have to compromise, the way that we speak. We don't have to assimilate. We don't have to do the white man shuffle. We're creating a space where we can show up as our full selves, because when we're well, we create more, we do better, right? And when we're not well, you're not going to get your best out of your diverse talent because they're stifled. Creativity stifled when stress is enacted. So if we can create in tech companies where we are nurtured and where our Black identity is loved, then real talk, we could outdo these white companies because we'd have the amazingness of the Black, spirit. So that's what I would love for us to do, to stop asking white folks for them to see our value and for us to start creating our own, and then start empowering and employing other people who have been historically excluded, because I'm not sure white folks will ever stop being white folks.
Yeah, I'm not all about like equality and trying to be equal to the next individual, because there's no such thing as literally being equal to the next individual. God gave us all two big talents, and we all have to tap into that. So there's no way that we're gonna be equal. Equal to what? You know what I mean? You're trying to be somebody else. I would never want to be equal to anybody. So I always practice about being creative, and I like that you touched on the fact about nurturing, because that's why I really want you to get into this, because a lot of the times people fail and don't want to go to these organizations is because, one, they don't see themselves. And that's the first thing that I do. I don't know about y'all. When I apply for an organization, all I do is first I look at the organization about me, and then I see all the staffs and see if they work there. And then, all right, if I see one Black girl, then I look at her and I'll be like, she's still not like me, she's like them. Everybody know like somebody that's act like them. She don't act like me. She's not free spirited, and she don't act like a Black girl, right? So I'm like, oh, this organization is not for me. I feel like I will have to fit into another bubble. So I look into another organization, and that's what organizations don't fail to realize, is that people not going into your organizations because they feel timid, right? And then not only that, you're not nurturing them. You want them to go to these internships, right? And you paying them like $16, $17 an hour, right? And then they can't even figure out how they can eat. You want them to go to all these Zooms and all these meetings and all of these different things when we still have trauma about trying to take care of our regular lives. Now, if we came out here and we was equal, right, and we had money and we all was equal out here, and then we didn't have an opportunity, then you can say, why are you not coming here into the meetings? But as you said, you acting like everything normal and we all equalize, and I supposed to come out to the meeting is really bizarre to me. If I'm Black, you automatically should know that I come with struggles and barriers. So you should automatically help me out. I don't care if I live in Silicon Valley or not. You know what I mean? I automatically come with stress and struggle. I might be taking care of my whole family. You don't know what I have to do. So I automatically come with stress and struggle. And that's what it comes to you, Tammy. I want to ask you, because you just had this conversation about how to get into tech with no college degree. And what are some of the questions that people asking you? Are they feel motivated, or are they ready to go? Like, what are they saying out there to you?
Most people believe that you need to have at least a college degree to get into tech. They don't see themselves in tech at all if they don't have college degree, or they don't have relevant college degrees, even that. They believe that tech is so complicated. You have to have all these statistics, maths, and all this technical background to even get into tech. But I keep telling them, you don't have to. So that's why you see me holding such rooms. Like, how do you get into tech with no college degree? I've trained students that are in tech now. They are working, making over 100,000 per year, and they're just getting into college. They don't have any college degrees. I've trained students that are 18 years old. I've trained students that are 22 years old. It's just that I can't show the pictures. They are under my this thing even here. That that can get into tech without any background. All I need is a great mindset. If I have a great mindset, the skill set can be put there. So all you need is a positive mindset. This diversity and inclusion thing is now a buzzword, you know, but it's always been something we've been craving for. Like let them know that we are here too. You know, if with you thinking, oh, you don't have college degree, and then you have this color, like black color or brown color, that's like a very, very deep disadvantage for a lot of people, especially if you even have African accent too, that you don't speak like American. That's a problem. But I've never allowed that to be my barrier. Nothing. I don't look at that. Like I was saying in one day in a room, I saw diversity and inclusion as a great thing. But before that happened, we were tech. We were in. How did we get in? You understand what I'm saying? So the thing is, I look past that. It's good that we're looking at all of these disadvantages now, but diversity and inclusion is just starting. And it's going to take time to get there. It will get there, but it will take, we don't know how long it's going to take. So not having a college degree, as well as our color of our skin, we shouldn't look at that as a disadvantage. We should just have a great mindset and then try to work on our skill sets. Because sometimes we kill ourselves before we actually get killed. Because sometimes we get ourselves defeated before we were defeated. When you're looking at we try to get a job somewhere, and you already have the mindset like, I don't have college degree, I can't get in. And whatever anybody's telling you, whatever you have on your head is there. In your head is there. It's like something speaking to you constantly, like you are defeated. You can't get in. Whereas you see other people, other colors getting in without college degree. What makes you different? At least get to the door. Let them say no. Then you know that they said no. But when you didn't even try make any attempt at all, and you just believe it's impossible, you understand? So that's one of the things. Like now we have iPhone. I mean, we have Clubhouse that for people on iPhone, and I'm sure the one on Android is coming. We need to go out there with people of color. We need to let people know we don't network, we don't discuss things, we don't, like if I know something now, they tend to keep it to themselves and don't tell their friends. Why? If you go into all the parties and you know how to tell your friends, oh, it's party time, tell them about the positive things too. The other people of other color, they connect more, they help themselves more. All of the other colors, is it white, is it Asian, is it whatever, India, they help themselves. Because I've been in tech, I know what I'm saying. We don't. So that's one of the things I always preach. Help yourself, tell people, spread the word, spread the good words. You can get into tech without college degree. Some people still don't believe it. They are in class, they'll come in, Mr. Me, I'm confused. Are you sure? I was like, seriously? If you don't listen to your mentor, who are you going to listen to? And when you tell them all of these things, they go out there and still find information and confuse themselves more. And then they ask some question. I'll be like, I've told you, you can get into tech. I'm going to guide you into all of these steps. There are many jobs you can get into tech without a college degree. And that's why you saw me that I was breaking it down. Nobody does what I'm doing on the Clubhouse, like going deep enough technically. What I was doing that day is that I was going through all of those jobs, web development, web engineering. What's the difference between web development and engineering? What's the difference between data analysis, data engineering, things like that. I'm going deep enough to break it down so that all I need is a great mindset. All I need is to know is to do a self-evaluation. What do I need to do? What do I love to do without you being paid for? So what I do is I help them to map their career mapping. When I map your career, I'll ask a couple of questions. You give me answers, then I'll be able to guide you into what I think is good for you based on what you like to do without even being paid, that you wake up every morning and you love it. And that will fit into your background so that when you get into tech, now, wherever company hires you, they are going to pay for your college. because most company pay for your for college. Like my 2 masters, my company pay for them. I don't have to pay dime. So why waste money now to go for to go for maybe taking college degree? I mean, going for college for degree or masters, where you can just enter wherever, start wherever you are. Whatever you have right now, just start. Get it like that. And most of people are not even ready to study. That's a problem too. You understand? If you have college degree and you're ready to learn, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, you can get a job in tech. You understand? You can get job in tech easily, but be ready to learn, to absorb, and just have some patience. Some of us people of color, sometimes we don't have patience. We just want something fast. That's what I've seen in my students. You
And
can't do it.
I just want to break that down too as well, because with the diversity and inclusion, what I tell individuals, because non-traditional students come up to me and be like, oh, I see that you represent diversity and inclusion. Can I get into that role? Diversity and inclusion does not mean being Black. Diversity is basically, it's basically all of us, or it can be you in another group where it's a Chinese white, or you somewhere else, and that means diversity. Inclusion, just this included in the area, right? That's not being Black. None of that is mean being Black. So I had to like really break that down. That's not being Black. And as far as the skill sets, if you guys all notice, the audience noticed that the way really to get into tech is you really have to go above and beyond. Like you, especially being Black, you have to do all these extra activities. You have to do the projects. You have to do the skill sets. Why? Because we already have an X on our name. I didn't make it up. That's just how it is. And since you know that's how it is, you have to maneuver like that. It's not my fault, but it also makes you a better person, right? Once you notice that you're doing all this extra work, you're like, dang, I'm getting all these certificates and stuff, because you have to do that, right? So it makes you better at the end of the day. And also with the outreach, a lot of the times when tech companies say, oh, we can't get talent and we're not getting diverse talent, is because you're doing all these apprenticeships and these interns, and you're reaching out to LinkedIn, your own LinkedIn, or your own Clubhouse, or you're doing these fancy meetings at the tech companies talking about diverse candidates for them to get into tech. It's the constant conversation between each other, and the community has no idea what to do. So this is where I'm different to where is this television show. This is the public access television show. So you will be able to see that if you don't have no money. This is for free. So you can be able to see that. Also, I also give these videos to the shelters, so that way they can be able to pop it in and they can be able to see that, have inspirational, right? And then as well as I print out information and paperwork to where I go to the nail salons, like you said, I have a nonprofit organization to where I'm connected with the schools, trying to get these mothers into to tech too as well, and trying to get these kids into tech, because somebody got to break the barrier. And if my father didn't taught me when I was homeless to be a productive citizen, I would have been homeless right now, because only thing I would have known about is like being homeless and going to the shelters and asking them for resources, because it's not like these shelters try to teach you how to be a business owner or how to teach you how to get into tech or anything like that. It's like a big old babysitting club at the shelters. It's not no resources for me to get to the next level and stuff like that. So I'm trying to bridge the gap for that. If you are trying to help the homeless people and stuff like that, we can maneuver and do fundraising different, so that way you can continue to do funds. And as far as just like where you said a lot of Black people don't have like don't want to be patients, it's because also whenever you go into these internships, they want you to be there from like 1 to 6 months with no pay, and you just literally sitting there. And I have done that before, where I was literally homeless at these internships, had to leave at 3:00, and I'm living here in San Francisco, had to drive around to figure out where I'm gonna park, because I can't park at the same spot. So, and people was looking at me funny, like, why are you going to this internship? Why are you doing all these informational interviews and you don't have $1 to your name? So it's just like, sometimes I don't have the patience. Sometimes I don't even have the patience to do the informational interview. So it's just a lot of strategies about digging deep enough, like you said, Terry, to be able to make people get these golden nuggets out of individuals and stop these barriers. So that's why I partnered with Toyin, because even just helping out with the adults, and so that way the kids can be clear, allows you to be able to focus and do these trainings. If the kids is focused and have some activities and stuff, then maybe I can be able to do some training, because they're not yelling all around a place like that. So these are just some barriers. And Toyin, what do you think that UK needs to do as far as just like bridging the gap for Black individuals?
Thank you, Erica. And really, really appreciate this program that you're doing. It's a very, very good initiative, because it creates this, just like you said, it breaks the barrier of, I don't have the money to find the information, but you're providing this information free on TV channels. So it's actually really, really good. So I appreciate you for that. What I'm going to say, to echo Tammy earlier, where it's about the mindset, because everyone is destined for greatness. That's one thing I'm so sure of. Everyone can be whoever they want to be. You can be the best of yourself. I aim at single moms at the moment, because single moms think we can have a very, very short mindset where you're saying, oh, I want to help the single mom get into tech, but they're so worried about, oh, where do I leave my child? What do I do with my child? I can't even feed my child. You want me to come over here and get into tech? So the first thing you need to do is get yourself in the right frame, right mindset. Know that you can be great. There's nothing stopping you from being you or me. There's nothing stopping anyone that is at home with their kids to have a Zoom call like this. Tech has been so amazing in this last 2 years, where every meetings have been on Zoom, on Teams, on Skype. You can actually meet people without having to be in the same room as them. So what I'm going to say on that is, it's so important to have the right mindset. Know your goals. Know that, okay, what do I actually want to achieve? What do I actually want? And you need to let your goals be measurable. Okay, I'm a single mom. What do I want? I want greatness. I want to be able to feed my child. I want to have lots of money. Okay. One of the things people stay clear of is money. When you talk about money, money is the root of all evil. No, it's not. Because if you have money, and if we all have money, are we not going to be able to help all this homelessness? Do you understand? If I'm rich now, I'll be able to spend my money, and I'll be able to help my family. I'll be able to help my child. I can have whatever I want. Money is not the root of all evil. That's one thing I need. People need to have the clear mindset that money is not the root of all evil, and get that out of your mindset. Have a goal. I'm a single mom. My goal is, I want to make 100,000 every year. There is nothing stopping me from making 100,000 every year. How do you get it? How do you get to that 100,000? You know? How do you get to that 100,000 every year? It's by breaking down. Okay, I've been trained. I met Erica at a business conference, the biggest business conference in the world at the moment, Grant Cardone. And the way he teaches is just have a goal. And when you have your goal, just do your calculations. Okay, 100,000 every year over 12 months. How do I make, if you divide 100, I'm going to try to do this math without a calculator now. So 100,000 divided by 10, let's say 10, that's like 10,000 per month. Okay. So if you want to make 10,000 per month over 30 days, that's like 33 pounds. I say pounds because I'm in UK. Per day. How do I get to 333 pounds? Maybe I need to sell something. Maybe I need to sell 3 items that are 100 pounds each per day. You will get the money. So you need to understand that everything is possible. Have your goals written down. Have a clear goal and say, this is how much I want. If you don't know what your goal is, if you're, for example, Erica, if you're helping an homeless person and they don't actually know what they want, they know they're homeless, but what kind of house do you want? Do you want a 1-bedroom house or a 2-bedroom house? Then if you know what exactly you want, then you can work towards it. And I would say networking and connection. Okay, that's one thing. When you know your goals, and then start networking, start meeting people. Honestly, an example Grant Cardone gave was, if you need £1,000, $1,000, and you could go and find 20 people that you can wash their car to get that $50 each from each person. Do you understand? So it's all about having a goal, network with people. The person you are washing their car could have a job in tech that you can get to. Don't stop yourself from getting. Do you want to come in, Erica? I see you want to come in.
Yeah, no. You could go ahead. Now I'm gonna let you finish, and then we could just wrap it up. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I was so excited about what you're saying about the crank of dawn, because listen, because I'm up in the class with you and I'm still learning. You know what I mean? I'm not a pro all the way with his stuff. And he at this point, he's close to being a billionaire. You know what I mean? So I'm all about just learning and growing with individuals as well. And I want you to continue to follow Toyland as well. She's doing her business. She's in tech. Feel free to I will make sure I put it down the link, her information. So please follow as well. And Tammy as well, please follow her. And I'm just going to let you guys just go around real quick. I want you to do, Charlotte, your last final thoughts and tell people how they can be able to meet you, and then let Tammy connect with you. Tammy, you do that, and then Toilet.
My final thought for young people wanting to break into tech, or if you're a parent to somebody who's interested in tech and you're of a historically excluded group, is to really study all the people that have been in STEM that come from. So if you're Black, study all the people that have invented things. We have invented amazing things. George Washington Carver was a genius. He did amazing things with agriculture. And the reason why you want to do that is because, just like Toya was saying about being able to visualize yourself, and Tammy as well, is about being able to see yourself. The more you can see people who look like you who've already done it, the more you will normalize the vision when you start to imagine for yourself. So, and then what y'all were saying about visualization is absolutely true. That's how I've gotten where I am, is you have to believe it's possible. And for a lot of people who've come from, not having money can seem impossible, but it's not. Money is abundant and it's everywhere. And just like you said, it's a math equation, right? How much do you want to make? And then you come up with an offer, right? So for my company, Healing Racism in Schools, I had to decide, well, how are we going to go about doing that, right? What does that look like? And I had to map out, well, what would that plan be, and write down, all the attributes of what I would do for my consulting. And then I had to put a price tag next to that. And generally what's going to happen, y'all, especially if you're from a historically marginalized or excluded group, is your price is going to be too low. Whatever you start with, it's going to be too low. And that's because you're used to not making any money. You have to understand that what people are willing to pay you has nothing to do with your worth. As people, especially in the United States, our African ancestors made trillions for this country. We were paid nothing, right? We were extremely wealthy, extremely valuable to this country, but they didn't pay us anything. So for too many of us, we set the bar too low because we're so used to being exploited. So that's what I would say, that, saturate yourself in images of people that look like you. If you're in these schools, understand that a lot of times when you're in the science and math classes, if you're not a white boy, essentially maybe an Asian boy, they're not going to give you your respect. So you have to understand that that's par for the course and not let that deter you. And like I said, we are able to do anything. So if we want it, it's available to us. Besides white supremacy is definitely an obstacle, and white people need to get their stuff together, no doubt. But as Black people, we are amazing, and we really can do whatever we want. And it really is just like, Professor Tammy was saying, it's about your mindset. You got to keep your mind in a good place, but it's difficult when everything's making you feel terrible. I'll add this one thing: schools that would like some anti-racist training so that they can make sure that students, have access to STEM and have access to tech, and that they're not doing things that will deter students from having access. You can work with me by contacting me at healingracisminschools@gmail.com. So I appreciate all of you queens and the work that you're doing. It was a pleasure and an honor to be in a room with the three of you. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So basically you just touched on basically Black is not for free and Black is not cheap. So whenever you come to us and ask us a question, that doesn't mean cheap or for free. We at this point we experts, we masters that anything that we do. So please pay us.
I
And
want to add one thing
yeah.
too, because you were saying that these companies don't know how to relate to us, and that's because these companies are monocultural. Whenever you hire a Black person, we are multicultural. We know how to interact with white folks. We know how to interact with Black folks. We probably know how to interact with some other people as well. So there's a lot of value that gets brought to the table, and we know that teams that have multicultural people on them do better. They make more money. They're more creative. So it's an asset to everybody for them to get rid of their white supremacy and to get us on the team. But if not, we can always start our own thing and then monopolize, capitalize, right? And they can come to us and looking for a job. How about that?
Yes, and if you know any leaders that wants that needs to be highlighted, right? Please refer them to me. At this point, I trust you guys and value you guys' opinion. And also, as well as our allies, we do have allies that are helping us too as well. Please refer them as well to us. I want to highlight them and just bridge the gap as well. And any students that's just trying to, get into tech as well, please bring them here, because the more the merrier. It's about introduction. I could probably have an executive there that's looking for a job or somebody to hire right then and there, and then I have a student. That happens all the time. And Toya, did anyone have any last final thoughts?
Yeah, actually, okay. So,
I was on mute. Go on.
okay, so quickly, I just want to thank you for allowing me to join you, to young all these wonderful queens. Thank you so much for being here. So what we can continue to do is continue the conversation, continue to collaborate, continue to be positive, because we are unstoppable. We are the only one that can stop ourselves. If we try to reach to the sky, and at least we try. If we can't get to the sky, at least we can get into half of the sky. So that's good enough. So let's continue to be positive and continue to move forward. I also have a STEM club. If you can follow my linktree, / empower 24/7, you can see all that I do for STEM clubs. Actually, I'm partnering with Microsoft for the summer camp. I've been doing STEM clubs for over 5 years now. So we are big on STEM clubs. So let's partner, let's work together and see what we can do concerning engineers, and also the young engineers that are coming up, to see what we can do to empower them. So I thank you so much, and look out for my www.myituniversity.com is coming out with free resources to help our community, as well as some cheap program that you can enjoy.
So basically, you saying you guys want to be the main moderators for this television show?
Yeah, why not?
Like, Shirley, you have the time, you want to be the main moderators for this and keep this on this television show?
I'm eradicating white supremacy in the schools. I can get in there where I fit in, but there's a lot of white supremacy in them schools to get at.
Yeah, so we could keep it up. If y'all want to be the main moderators, we can definitely keep it up. It airs every Tuesday at 5 p.m., 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as well. And yeah, you can be the main moderator. So far, I'm just the host, the one host, and then I add you guys, as you can see. But this is not going to be recorded right here. But yeah, if you want to continue doing that,